Hey everybody, welcome to Bones Collector, aka Old People Playing Board Games. And I wanted to take the time today to make a special video about Trois. We just finished playing Trois, and the reason why I wanted to do something special and talk about this today is because this game is just so incredible that I could never ever purge it from my board game library. It is perfection in a box. It's gaming perfection, and if you don't have this game in your library, you don't know what you're missing. It is so good. And when I think about not only games that have come out over the years, but games that are made today, and we're talking about, I think there's going to be over 800 new board games produced this year, 2024, and that's ridiculous. You know, I'm sorry, because what happens is there's a dilution of the quality of the games. That's just a no-brainer. There's not going to be 800 games produced in 2024 as good as Trois. If you don't look back in time, you're going to miss out on some golden opportunities to grab a great game. Now, Trois is relatively inexpensive. It's still available. It's still in print, and I just looked on the Geek Market, and there's one copy on there, brand new for $30. Of course, you'd have to pay shipping on top of that. But that's inexpensive in today's world. But Trois is so elegant, and I don't throw that term around and bandy that word around lightly. It's an outstanding board game, very much in the world of Castles of Burgundy, in that type of elegance I'm talking about. It's so good, and Lori and I just finished playing it a couple of times. We played once yesterday, Lori beat me, and we played once this morning, and I got her back and won the game. And when we were playing this game, you know, we're talking about everything that is woven together in these mechanics that is so beautiful, that make your mind melt in such a good way. If you haven't played Trois, it is an area influence game with some dice rolling and endgame bonuses, because you have character cards that you're given at the beginning of the game, a couple of them to each player. So you're going to try to attain those goals so you can get those scoring opportunities at the end of the game. And then you have all these activity cards on the board itself, which, by the way, I love. One of the beautiful things about Trois is there's no player boards. All the activity, all the thinking is focused on this central board. I love board game designers that can do that. Paulo Mori's Vasco da Gama is another one that comes to mind that does that. You just have a central board so you can focus all your attention on what's happening right there. And I love that about Trois. And there's so many things going on the board. You have different areas of the city of Trois, and you are trying to get your influence in those areas of the city, and depending on how many of your workers you have in those areas of influence depends on how many dice you get to roll. And in a two-player game, there's also a dummy player where we roll however many dice he gets for having his gray workers in the areas of the city, and then we will roll that many dice for that player plus our own dice for the workers that we have in those areas of the city, and those all go in the central part of the board right here. And then you use those dice to activate these activity cards, to battle event cards that are going to attack you at the bottom of the board, and that's a beautiful mechanic also. But the thing that really makes Trois special is the opportunity to not only use your dice, but to use other players' dice. And you have to do that by paying for it. On the back of your player aid, it has a chart that tells you exactly what you have to spend in order to purchase other people's dice to use with your dice, but it's a little bit difficult to understand. So Lori made this cheat slip, and I'll have her put it on the screen again. So if you guys make that, laminate it, it's so much easier to understand, because that's a huge part of this game, being able to purchase the dice from other players in the game. And then you add those dice together to the total from your district, and you're going to be performing a much more powerful action. And that can be so electric. I just love that mechanic in this game. I don't know what to say. I mean, it's just such a very good game. Relatively easy to pick up and learn. I think Board Game Geek rates it a 3.46, which can be a little bit complex to some people, but it's not once you get to playing it. Now in Trois, you are going to start the game by placing your workers in these areas of influence on the board, And once you do that, then that's going to tell you how many dice you're going to roll and put in your district. And then these event cards are going to come out on the bottom of the board. And those event cards, you'll have the opportunity to resolve and take them for points and influence. Your influence track at the top of the board is another form of currency in this game. You have money that you can purchase things with, and you also have influence that you can purchase things with, such as mitigating bad dice rolls, which happens to you. When you roll dice, sometimes you're going to get some bad dice rolls. So if you spend 4 influence, you can turn your dice to the other side. In other words, if you rolled a couple of 1s, you pay 4 influence on that track, and you can put both those 1s at 6. And I did that. I did that more than once, and it really helped me out. And it's nice to have that kind of mitigation in a dice rolling game. And I really enjoy that. But these event cards are bad things that are going to happen to you. And they're at the bottom of the board, and you can put so many of these out. I mean, there's no limit to them. And some of them say add a red card, add a white card, add a yellow card. And when you see those on the bottom of that card, you have to keep adding those cards even if you go off the board. So you are going to want to resolve these cards and get them off the board, because they're attacking both of you or all of you in the game. We play this primarily at 2, which, by the way, this game plays amazing at the 2-player count. So those of you who are like Lori and I, that have a partner that you play board games with on a regular basis, you will love this game. And these event cards are going to attack you. They take cubes out of the cathedral. They make you go down on the influence track. They add cards, more cards to this event line down here at the bottom of the board. So they're things that you want to get rid of very badly so that you don't have to deal with them the next turn. And then, this game's only 4 rounds for a 2-player game. There's 3 activity cards in each area of influence on the board. They're face down when the game starts. Then, to begin the round, you turn one of those activity cards over, and players can put workers on there and do those activities on those cards. And those activities on those cards are so deep and far-reaching. It's so nice and refreshing to have a game with this complexity right focused on this main board. It's easier to absorb and understand and keep in order mentally because everything's right here in front of you. It's right here on the main board. I will never get rid of Trois. Never's a long, long time, but as long as I'm playing board games, I want to play games like Trois. I want to play Trois. If you like board games, Trois is magic, and there's very, very few games out there that can accomplish and present itself with that kind of interest, with that kind of mental delight that Trois offers all players. I just want to take a little bit of time today and tell you about this game. If you don't have a copy of it, or if you've never played Trois, you need to get it played and understand what I'm talking about. This is a perfect board game. It's what we love here at Bones Collector Studios. This is the type of game we adore. And we like all kinds of games, but boy, this thing is designed to the point where it couldn't be any better, you guys. And if you haven't played it, please do. I want to take a few minutes and tell you about it. Wonderful dice rolling in this game. So much fun. Just the activity cards, the variety that's in the base game alone is outstanding. It came out in 2010. We have a 2016 reprint. It came with a little bit of an expansion in it, and we just, every time we play it, we absolutely adore it. It has a solo also?
In this box.
Okay, it's the solo version in this box also. Thanks for mentioning that, honey. But wow, I mean, once we got done playing it, I wanted to tell you about it, you guys, and just let you know that if you haven't played Trois, you need to. But hey, today the subject was Trois. I want to tell you about Trois and give you the opportunity to enjoy some of the joy we get from playing this game, and hopefully you have the opportunity to either play it or pick it up or both. And I'll see you the next time on The Bones Collector. I love every one of you. Keep on board gaming. It's the best hobby on the planet. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for hitting that like button. It helps us out so much. And we'll see you the next time here on The Bones Collector. Bye-bye. Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to Bones Collector. And today Laura and I just finished playing an old game that we absolutely adore. We've had it in our library since, I don't know, whenever. Viceroy came out in 2014, and I think we've had it I think we probably picked it up in 2016. We've had it a long time, 16 or 17. But we also have the expansion in here, so there's a lot more here that you're looking at than comes in the game, the base game. And then this neoprene mat we added from Mayday, right? They had some kind of a sale, and we picked up the mat.
It fits in the box.
Yeah, and the neoprene mat fits in the box, which is always nice. We really enjoy that. And it has some nice thick token stock that you use in the game. These gemstones we added. The gemstones that come with it are round, thick cardboard token stock. It's pretty nice. And then all these token stock is nice and thick. And the cards themselves are linen, and they're the small square ones that kind of like that. So we'll put some pictures up on the screen. We've sleeved everything because I love this game, and Laura and I enjoy playing it a lot. And in this game, you're building a pyramid of power. And it says right on the, I think it even says on the box, build your pyramid of power. And check out that old grouchy looking guy. I mean, the art in this game is one of the things that keeps us coming back to it. If I had to pick a game that we adore the art in, this would definitely be in the conversation. Shakespeare and Viceroy have the best art on cards that I think I can remember. This game is designed by Yuri Zurovjov or something. But Yuri also designed a game that we have called Winter Queen, which we keep and play. We enjoy that game also. And we looked into that game because of Viceroy. We were so intrigued by Viceroy. Now in Viceroy, at the beginning of the game, you're going to start with one of these character cards, 2 law cards, and then 1 card. But that's
the main card. That came with the expansion.
Came with the expansion, yeah. So the economy in this game is with the gems and the cards. It's very tight. It's so tight, the economy. You're going to really have to work hard to weave together a balance of gems and when you're acquiring cards. Because at the beginning of the round, you're going to pick one of these gemstones on the mat, and you're going to take one in your hand. It's a blind bid, and you're going to look at the cards and see which one you would like to have. And when you start the bidding round out, of course, at the beginning of the game, it will be look like this. So you'll have 4 cards down here to choose from. Now, if you want this card here, you'll want to bid a red gem. If you want this card, you'll have to bid a yellow gem. And then when you win that bid, you're going to have to spend that gem to take that card. And you're already short on gems at the beginning of the game. You're only going to start out with, I think, 6 gems. And it's very, very difficult to balance that because you're not only spending them when you bid, but wherever you place them in your pyramid, you're going to have to spend them. So if you have a card and you want to play this card, here you're going to have to spend a blue gem to put it on the very bottom row of your pyramid. If you want to put it on the second row, you have to spend 2 gems, the green and the blue. If you want to put it on the third row, it's going to be 3 gems, and so on. So, and you can go up to the 4th row in this. Can you go up to 5? Yeah. How's that work?
The 5th row, you have to pay all 4 of those gems, and you pay the 4th gem again.
Yeah. So anyways, you're going to spend a lot of gems to place these cards. And it's a difficult balancing act. Because you need cards to play, but you need gems to play them in your pyramid. And it's a juggling act, to be sure. And yeah, so you can play them up to the 5th level, and at that point you have to pay an extra gem, whatever the 4th level gem is. So it costs you 2 yellow in this case, on this card here. So this would cost you a blue, green, red, and 2 yellow to place that on the 5th. But I don't see anybody doing that. And maybe we've played this game, and I don't know, I can't remember if I've put one on the 5th level or not. But the last 2 games we've played, I did not even put one on the 4th level. You did, though.
No, I made it to 3rd.
I think yesterday you
Yesterday I might have played 1 on the 4th level.
Yeah, I think you did. So you're going to acquire these cards and spend a gem to bid, and then when you want to play that card, you can play up to 3 cards from your hand, which I never had 3 cards in my hand the whole game. Did you?
In the beginning, when I had my law cards.
Well, I mean character cards.
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think I ever had 3 character cards in my hand because you're just not going to have that many cards. And the only way to get them cards is to bid on them, or to have a card like this
It gives you cards.
that has a picture of cards, and they give you cards if you place it on that particular level. Because when you put this in your pyramid, whatever level you put it on, you're going to take that particular benefit from that level in this game. So you're really trying to think about, where do I want to put this in my pyramid, and which benefit do I want on this card? That's going to determine where you want to put it. And then also you're trying to build gems, because you have gems on both upper corners of each card, and on the bottom you have a half a gem. And if you can build full gems in your pyramid, whenever you complete that, you get a gem of that color to put behind your player screen, because you're keeping those gems and some other hidden information behind this player screen. So you're thinking about that also. Can I build a gem to get myself a gem? Because you need gems badly, and you need cards badly. And it's so hard to balance that. It's a very interesting game. And I know that when you're playing this game, some people will probably not like it. It is a very tight economy. I mean, right to the very end, we finished. I had 2 gems I was able to cash in for. That's all the gems I had left over, and I was able to cash them in on a law card for some points. And how many gems did you?
And you used 1 to paint
and
that
I used
blue.
1 to paint.
I used 2. I used 3 to paint, and I don't know if I have any back behind my screen.
Now, when you at the end of the game, if you have gems that are partially completed, like this one had 3 blue sections and 1 yellow. Well, I can place a blue gem on that yellow and make that a full gem, because you get points for it depending on the level that it is in your pyramid. So that's end game scoring. These gems that you have completed that give you gems during the game, you're also going to get points for them at the end of the game. And I should have said that up front. You're thinking about what level you want to put this card on, these cards in your pyramid, because you get different things. There's different types of benefits in this game. Some of them will give you gemstones, and that's when you see a card with a gray background and a number. If it has a number 4 on it, it's on a gray background, like this card here. I'm going to show you the Mentor, and it's got on the second level. If I had to put this on the second level, it's got a 4 on a gray background. That's going to give me 4 gemstones. So I'm going to select 4 gemstones if they're available out of the supply, and that's one way to get gemstones. And then also, you can get a set collection thing going on where you have scrolls and gears and swords and shields and point tokens. So you've got all that to think about and acquire depending on where you put this card in your pyramid. You also have these bonus tokens that give you, boy, that would have been a nice one to have, 5 points for a scroll. Yeah, but you can acquire these tokens here, scrolls and gears, and then you have to have one of these tokens also that is a separate line on these cards. So you are going to have one of these in order to score the scrolls that you have in your pyramid. And this is a bonus token. It tells you you get 5 points for each one of your scrolls. If you have this bonus token and no scrolls, which I did yesterday, you get no points at all. And that's really sucks. So you don't want to do that. And then you can also acquire these bonus tokens that have a gem color on them, and you will get that many extra points for gems of that color in your pyramid that you have completed, and infinite gemstones, which you can also acquire on these cards, different lines of the cards, where you have an infinite gem all the time. I had a card with an infinite yellow gemstone, and I can spend that once per round to pay for a card that I'm placing in my pyramid. I can't use it to bid with, but I can use it to pay for cards in my pyramid. So yeah, this is such an interesting game that nobody talks about anymore. And that happens to games when they get older, because people are always searching out new things. We keep this game, and it is in my top 100 games of all time for the reasons that I've mentioned. It plays very smoothly. I like the tight economy in this game. I like the puzzle of putting together this pyramid and trying to find a way to score. You have this deck of law cards that's going to come into play, and that gives you extra ways to score or extra ways to get gems, different things that can help you during the game. So you have a deck of law cards, a whole stack of character cards here, in addition to all the ones you see here. And you need some table space to play this game, because this is my bottom row of my pyramid. I mean, it runs from the edge of the table all the way over to Lori's play area. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cards on my bottom row. Sometimes it'll work out like that, where you have the bottom row really full. Other times you're building your way up and things flow a little better. So you have to work so hard to get up there. And I'm talking about work hard mentally, because you're just trying to figure out how to get those things on the board with the gems that you have behind your player screen, and the benefit that the card is giving you, in addition to building the gems in the pyramid himself from the card color that you have in your pyramid. So it's a very, very difficult game to balance all of that. And like this one here, you can get 8 gems if you play this card on the 4th level. You know, I thought about how nice that would be. 8 gems in one whack, but you'd have to spend 4 to get it, and actually 5, because you'd have to bid unless you drew it for free, which you can happen if you play a card with a card benefit on it. But you would spend 4 to play this and then get 8, so you'd be a net of 4 gems. But still, that would be pretty nice. And I've done it before, but you're thinking about how to do those things when you're playing this game. It is such a fun little card game. The art is just gorgeous in this game. I love playing it just to look at the cards. Artists, and it has several. So you can look on Board Game Geek and look at these artists. But man, I tell you what, the art in this game is so beautiful. Even the box art is amazing, front and back.
Which we can't show you.
Yeah, I can't show you because, yeah, Biscuits fell asleep in the lid, and which I appreciate, because and in Gravy, he's the one that bothers the games, but they both fell asleep, and we were able to play this game. I just want to tell you about this game, you guys, because again, it's a game that's not talked about. I don't even know if it's worth making a video about it, because people just seem to search out games that are new. They want games that are new, but I will never get rid of Viceroy. It's just so much fun to play. It's so beautiful and evocative on the table because of the art, the gemstones, and we got the player mat, and I just love this little game. And we started it at 10 o'clock, so it took less than an hour to play, which is very nice. And it's a very difficult puzzle to play this game. And so I don't think it'll be for everybody, because a lot of people don't like that kind of pressure. It's just, there's a lot of pressure trying to weave together any semblance of organization in building that pyramid. And man, I tell you, even when I was just doing it, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do this, I can't do that, I have to. And you can, if you get desperate for gemstones, you can discard a card and get 2 gemstones, or you can pass on your bid and get 3 gemstones.
Plus 1 for every sign.
Yeah, so there's ways to get gemstones, but you're going to have to sacrifice something to get them.
And you don't get any cards.
Yeah, and you end up now, then you're going to be in dire straits trying to get a card just to play in your pyramid. And man, I tell you what, just a fantastic game. I loved it ever since I played it the first time, and I just keep it in my library. It comes in a smaller type box, same size as like Calico or Cascadia, that size box. So I enjoy that about it. It's a tough puzzle. I enjoy that about it. And it's beautiful to look at. I enjoy that about it. And you can get this game fairly inexpensive. We have, again, an expansion in it, because the more cards in this game, it's a card game. And the more cards you get, the better. And I enjoy all of that different characters in this game. Just to look at them on the table, it's amazing. So yeah, I want to tell you about that. And you get again, if you get a player screen, it's going to give you some information that will help you play the game. And that's always helpful when publishers do that. I don't think this game is in print anymore, but I think it's available. I think there was enough copies made that if you find somebody, you can probably get this game pretty cheap. But I wanted to tell you about it because if you're building a board game library and you like this type of game, this type of tight economy puzzle that it really presses you and really pushes you to the limit when you're trying to think of how to organize all of these cards when you're building this pyramid, you're going to love Viceroy, because we love it and we're old. We're old like Viceroy. But anyway, hey, that's it. I wanted to tell you about this game, make a nice short video about it. I'll see you next time on The Bones Collector. Please and thank you so much for liking our videos and subscribing. We appreciate that very much. I will have some other game videos coming up, and please keep board gaming. It's the best hobby on the planet because of games like Viceroy. We'll see you next time on the Bones Collector. Bye-bye.